Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is day 23 of our Alchemical Transformation Challenge. And today we have a really interesting element in regards to how we can prepare our body for this alchemical transformation. And we talked a lot about releasing and letting go and healing in the integration process. But there's an element that's really important about this whole integration process, which really speaks to the aspect of receiving, integrating, and allowing. And oftentimes, this is the most difficult part for many people because we live in a very compartmentalized reality, society where everything is in these constant states of separation and duality, and we're constantly experiencing those things. So what we want to do is begin to understand, how do we become unified? How do we become and embody unification in a world with so much separation, with so much disconnect, and with so much judgment in terms of how to navigate this world? So this is actually one of the most important parts, because it's within this aspect that we begin to discover that are we becoming? Do we create an environment for a unified collective consciousness? Okay, so I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Welcome. Happy New Year's, everyone. It is such an honor to be here as always. And I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys had an incredible New Year's and you were able to celebrate with family and friends. Hello, Alpha and Omega, Jay Zen, Grace, Kira, Adam, Kira, Angela. So wonderful to see you guys. So let's begin in today's conversation. This year is going to be a very, one of the most powerful years, I think, that are the cornerstone and the beginning of a major transformation into a new era for humanity. And I say it that way because this year will really bring really fast forward technology in such a way that our humanity will take a leap forward. And it's the beginning of a new phase for humanity in the next 10 years that will bring major transformation to structures of reality, social structures, the way we relate to one another, and how we are interacting in the world. And more importantly, the way we navigate as human beings. This is going to be a really big aspect of this entire integration process, because navigation as a human is now shifting into one that requires, not just as an option, but it requires intuitive activity, intuitive abilities, the cultivation of intuition and internal healing and the power over the physical body, the mastery of the physical body. So this year will, because of everything that we have been going through in the past couple of years, have prepared us in such a powerful way in order to begin to question discernment, begin to understand the dynamics of power, the dynamics of giving and receiving, and the mastery. How much control do you have over your reality? That's really what it comes down to. If you fall into the category of being a victim and helpless, and when it comes to these experiences, major global shifts and changes, then many of us can go into cycles of despair and into dormant states of hypnosis. Okay, and in hypnosis, we can't quite see because we're unaware of ourselves as a whole. So it requires us to become incredibly lucid in our conscious everyday experience. And in addition to that, the embodiment of this total body, mind, body integration, unification is what will lend way for us to activate into our higher faculties, into the basic tools now, which will become basic fundamental tools for a human in order to navigate this world that we are co-creating, this new world that we're co-creating. And that is the ability to tune in, have telepathic communication, have intuitive interactions that are very heart-centered, but what that means is that we are in alignment, integration with our highest aspect of ourselves that is not only looking at self-serving choices and activities and ways of being, but rather that we are now looking at the interconnected model of existence. It's unification at a whole different level. And the reason why we're moving in that direction is not only because we talk about the way that the universe is moving and we're moving into this higher frequency band in which requires unification of fractalization in order to embody a higher frequency band, in order to move at a rate that is in alignment with this evolutionary cycle. But what that's doing to us is that these past couple of years have prepared us subconsciously, psychologically, emotionally, in order to understand the difference between separation and unification. And all the things that have been happening in the past couple of years have really made it so that many people are becoming separate. People are separate in their ideas, in their values, in what they believe to be true or untrue, in the discernment of what is healthy, what is unhealthy. All of these kinds of compartmentalizations and organizations of our beliefs and thoughts kind of caused a lot of division amongst lots of people, lots of groups of people, politics, everything from our sexual identity to color and race is something that has highlighted separation. Okay, even in the most primal aspects of ourselves, sexual desires, the inversion of sexual life force energy has really gotten to the root core of the most primal inversions of that. And the reason for that coming into the mainstream is for us to clearly understand what we need to do in ourselves, highlighting in ourselves all the parts of us that stick to that separation and judgment. And what do we need to do in order to come into unification? The war internally and the war that we believe we're having externally. Because these wars that we're fighting internally and externally with having opinions and identities and solidifying a separation between ourselves and others is actually what will bring us into hypnosis and make us very easily controlled, very easily targeted. And we have to be very mindful of the whole artificial intelligence element of our reality that drives marketing campaigns, that drives consumer driven efforts in our world that are intricately connected with psychology, with relationships, and are using and manipulating emotions from the inside out in order to drive humanity into certain directions. So the more we follow those trends that are heavily put into our society through media, and we are, and even in some cases, people that are disseminating information can also cause, even in the spiritual community, ideas of separation. So we need to be very mindful at this point. How do we go from separation into unity? This will be the problem-solving invitation of this year, because it's one that we need to look at, and it's the direction in which we are organically headed as individual organisms and in the collective. So how can we embody unity? How can we move away from judgment? And the difference between judgment and discernment is essentially that discernment represents the choices that we make that are good for ourselves, but also the collective, that are good for the collective. And that's where this separation starts breaking and falling apart. Because when you think of yourself and the collective, the future generations, brothers and sisters that surround you, even those that we tend to want to judge, this is where we start in really maturing our perspective into a different way of interacting, being, and existing in the world. So these are the focuses that this year are going to be highlighted from this internal subconscious aspect, but also we are also looking at this artificial intelligence element that really has been studying and gathering data from every person that uses the computer, watches TV, watches certain films, whatever they're consuming in regards to food, entertainment, and even everyday essentials, is forming this kind of intelligence that is counter moving with the organic. And so what that means is that these systems know us better than ourselves oftentimes, and that can really lead to us thinking that we're making choices, but in reality, we're being heavily driven by these external stimulations. So pulling away, once again, back into a more natural state of connection with yourself, meditation in terms of finding reconnection with yourself in order to listen to the guidance within yourself, listen very, very deeply, very carefully to your deepest desires, to your deepest needs, wants, to the things that we long for. Those are the things that will guide us into a state of liberation, sovereignty, and empowerment, and the ability to be of service, not just to ourselves, but the collective. So how can we reach that state of unification internally is by breaking down the walls internally of all the shadows, the things of ourselves that we cannot accept, the parts of ourselves that we judge, that we try to separate and suppress. Those are the parts of you that actually feed into the empowered aspect of yourself. So anyone that is struggling financially, anyone that's struggling in their jobs, in their relationships, in families, where are the shadows that are being suppressed, that are being shamed or judged, that are not allowing you to come into the full expansive range of all that you are, right? Because the illusion of compartmentalizing yourself in good and bad and creating these separations internally and externally is what causes human to weaken. Because as an organic intelligence, or organic self-organizing intelligence, we function best as a whole, as a united, communicative whole. So if our cells inside are communicating and there's harmony internally, the red and white blood cells are knowing exactly when to function, doing what they need to do within the body to maintain health, vitality, and many internal organ systems function in that way. We as a whole human race function in that same intelligence in order to keep order and balance in this universe, in this world, solar system and universe and multiverse. Remember that we require that self-organizing intelligence that begins from within. So how can we begin to access the intelligence of that natural self-organization is by once again coming closer to nature, right? Aligning with nature. And that means placing our natural circadian rhythms, the rhythms of our body, the rhythms of regeneration of our organism in alignment with nature in order to enter into the highest states of regeneration for the body. So that means getting enough sleep, getting enough water, eliminating, making sure that we're not intaking toxins in the body, neurotoxins, chemicals, anything that will take us out of our state of complete awareness and consciousness in our body will be essential in creating a clear unification internally and externally. Okay, so anytime that we become disconnected from any part of your system here is what will guide us out. Okay, so of course, those of you that require aids in helping your body, do that, but always stay aware subconsciously, do the work to be aware as much as possible, activating our intuitive abilities. Okay, so yeah, so let's talk about this accepting the light. Now, what happens now when we're trying to move into the direction of unification internally and externally is that oftentimes one of the biggest and most difficult challenges is for people to accept their own divine, sacred nature. And it's because of the traumas and it's because of the things that we've experienced in our life that have made it feel that we are not able to be okay or to be safe, or that we are not good enough in some way, some which way, whatever way that is, regardless of the life that you have led, as difficult of a life that you have led, as challenging of a life that you have led, that you are always divine and completely natural in your expression. So this is one of the things that is the hardest illusions to break for mankind, because our psyche is so engaged in constant judgment and separation, that finding that acceptance can be very traumatizing for the human, because they are not feeling that they can be safe in that acceptance. They are afraid that once they hold on to that acceptance, it will be crumbled down if someone says something or a large global event occurs, that we lose our grounding and our footing in our reality. And so this is what we need to exercise ourselves and mold ourselves as these human organisms with the ability to become fluid, in that we are constant states of acceptance and release, receiving and giving. This kind of ebb and flow that we create in our nervous system, in our energetic body, in our multidimensional expression, in our navigation out of body, is essential to becoming a conduit of life force. We talked about the vibrational frequency of our bodies, and how when we don't maintain certain vibrational frequencies in the body, it's hard for source to even enter and integrate and communicate with the physical body. Well, it's those stagnant states that block this constant movement. So being this new human is really about dissolving all limitations of form, identity, shape, and limiting belief systems of what you are, holding on to anything as truth, as absolute truth, and allowing yourself to be able to move fluidly through experiences and information. So this is really, really important, because from here, in order to be able to move forward and breaking these patterns of separation, it really requires us to begin to heal in that part, in that way. So that's what today is about, and that's what we're going to do in our meditation. So let's go ahead and come into the chat here. I want to say hello to everyone. It's so great to see you. Leon, what did you guys do for New Year's? Happy New Year's. So when this shift is happening, hey, so when this shift is event happening, yeah, I mean it's happening right now, but the way I'm seeing it is that in this spring is when things will start really moving very quickly. By spring, by April, especially, I feel like April would be a very important month of this year that will determine a lot of major changes for us, that we're going to have to readjust our way of seeing the world. And there is lots of elements of uh, continued concepts of war that will also enter into our subconscious mind. So, and that's close to summertime, and financial crises as well that will also come into play. And the natural elements, of course, are also dancing in this readjustment, in the same way that organisms are aligning themselves with higher states of consciousness. Nature is also playing a role in that. And so we are going to want to kind of pay attention to those cycles, natural cycles of nature. And I guess towards the end of the year, we begin to see just a new way of being. If we thought the last couple of years were impressive and incredible in that we were able to shift the world overnight, we're also going to see that this year. And this is the beginning. This is the foundation of the next 4 main years until 2024, as I mentioned before, are going to really shift us in that direction. Okay, so these are exciting times, but more importantly, they are times of deep reconnection and working on that internal aspect. Okay. Judith Verben, Happy New Year, dearest. Thank you so much, Judith. Much love to you. Russell Wolf, Christine, Sioban, Happy New Year's. Thank you so much. Jay Zen, things just have to change. Yes, they do, just like we are constant change. Leon, Happy New Year. Kevin, hello. Thank you so much. Katie Tiani, Happy New Year from New Zealand. Angela Desborough, 444 for her. Darina Yardo Yardanova, welcome. Liza, so great to see you. Marie, how much love to you. Nature has a perfect evolution for your involvement. That's right. Man from Daytona, my biggest, darkest shadow is my neighbor with the super loud engine and exhaustion pipes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, if that's all you have to worry about, I don't know. There's a lot there that can be dived into. Grace, Geraldine, did your life turn upside down for a while before getting to the point you're at? Oh, I mean, many times, right? Because, but I will say something that once I started to do the shadow work, it began to kind of go into a state of peace for a long time, in that being in a constant state of observation has this incredible power of keeping you in ebb and flow. Okay, so and that's an entire training that we have to do to our bodies. We have to move out of survival into states of observation. And when you enter that state of observation, it's almost like you've entered the center of a tornado. It becomes really peaceful. You see all these things going on around you, but this allows you to really understand yourself. So there will be that. But anytime that we have to upgrade with this natural cycle of evolution, anytime we have to continue growing, and remember that personal development, it's never ending, because with nature, we are constantly experiencing life and death. That's what this is about. We're not looking for complete ultimate peace and in what does that mean? External peace, right? That's not going to happen, because this world is in that nature of duality. But internal peace is what you can achieve through this. And that internal peace allows you to experience any potential experience. Doesn't matter. You're always going to find your grounding in your space internally. So yeah, so we have to go through that. And what you'll notice is that there are layers to the lessons that you're learning. So some parts of you that you might feel that haven't quite gotten to its complete fruition or complete understanding, subconsciously the programs of the same things that you've been working on externally are going to show up. So let's say you have a really big relationship with someone and you learn that you have a lot of self-doubt. Okay, so then you go in through this life, you begin to heal that, you integrate that, you understand that, but now the life is going to teach you that same self-doubt in a different way. It's going to be in a more global way. Like, what about your existence in the world? Do you doubt your existence in the world? Do you feel that you don't belong? And so this is an example. And so from there, you would begin to now expand your understanding of self-doubt. Okay, we're going to learn self-doubt, micro, macro. And it's the same with any kind of shadow aspect of ourselves. So it requires us to enter into deeper, more expansive, interconnected states of the same information. And that's what it means to grow. That's what it means to become one with the whole, because the whole is infinite. Okay. So everything will come so naturally from now on. Yes. Well, it's up to you. It's up to you if it comes naturally. That's why receiving is so important. Keep cutting the gray lines from your aura with meditation. The gray lines, oh, from the past. Well, we become one with everything. And remember that we are just learning how to be interconnected, but to be a conduit of source in those interconnections, because we're never really disconnected from things, but we become one with the whole. This topic has been at the forefront of my heart lately. Deserving divinity within me. Yes, exactly. Very good. So, oh my gosh, look at your super chat. Thank you, Mariha. Thank you so much for that. Little dog, thank you so much. Mark Hudson, thank you very much for that. Happy New Year's. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Hello, Kiran. Wonderful to see you. Fields of Theaters from Hong Kong. I love Hong Kong. Spent lots of time there. I love it so much. Russell Wolf, love, love, love. As Octavia Butler says, everything you touch, you change. Everything you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Yes, love that. Thank you. Angela, thank you so much for that super chat. My God, you guys are so lovely and generous. It really just warms my heart. Thank you. Angie Sioban, Still trying not to get overwhelmed with the big hot mess I'm waking up to practically every day in routines and challenge. Do we have to eat or should we wait to feel hungry? How does hunger fit into our ascension path? Well, it depends where the hunger is coming from. Okay, so when you come into a state of emotional peace and harmony internally, when you have dealt with the parasites within that are manipulating and causing an influx in emotions that deregulate your internal balance, that play with hormones, that play with sugar levels in the body, okay, both in the biome and both the parasites that we create in our multidimensional body through stagnant thought forms. Because a lot of people can often go into cycles of gaining a lot of weight for many reasons. And sometimes these reasons are protection, because they are not safe in their environment, because we haven't regulated our emotions, because we haven't balanced um, some subconscious belief systems. And so food becomes a comfort. Now, there's a difference between comfort and nourishment. Okay. When you nourish your body, you are the conduit of life, and you provide all the needs emotionally for your body, so that food now becomes a relationship of healing and nourishing this physical vessel into its highest, most beautiful expression. It gets vitamins. It knows the body has created a homeostasis in that it works in order with with nature, which means that when it receives food, it knows to receive the vitamins that it needs to nourish the body, and it knows to release what it needs to release in order to create harmony and follow that ebb and flow of recycling energy, right? So the opposite of that would be to use food for comfort, which means that you become, your vortex has become stagnant, or you essentially become a black hole where you need from something external. And so what your taste buds in combination with your biome and the subconscious mind, the emotional, energetic, and nervous system all work together to provide you with that fulfillment. And so the desire to eat food, sweets, salty things, the carbs, whatever it is that you desire in that moment is 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 actually letting you know what you require. And there's an entire kind of science to this, that when you crave salty things, there's certain organs in your body that are lacking life force. When you crave sweet things, there's certain organs in your body that require life force. And so to understand the physical functions of the body will allow you to understand what you require, and it allow you to understand your emotional needs. Okay, so I'll show you that in just a moment, because it's part of this cycle of nourishment. I'll show you in just a moment, just so you can have an idea. But when the body goes into balance, it doesn't require those kinds of, cravings for things, because those cravings are fulfilled by your own source light, which means emotional balance. When we have emotional balance, comes health, harmony, internal harmony, and then harmony with the external. So this is where we begin to look at that. Okay. Christina says, Christina, great to see you. Hello. My new year has already been incredible. Confirmation of being on the right path. Yay. Earlier time today after my meditation. That's amazing. I tried to relate to my family, but doesn't work. That's okay. That's okay. Doesn't mean family are just humans like anyone else. And we just create harmony and balance internally as much as we can in those relationships. And as we cultivate ourselves as conduit as life force, we will be reallocated into the communities, unities, and families that we need to connect with. So it's okay. There is an element of mourning that will occur at having some of these separations, but essentially we find our groups or our families. And remember that as a human race, we're a family. So sooner or later, we have to make friends with those that we disagree with. Remember, this is what this whole conversation is about. in order to create some level of harmony. And that harmony is internal. It's never going to be external. Okay. At least it won't, our focus isn't on the external outcome of that harmony. Geraldine, I hope you get around to putting a page on your website for this challenge. Yes, I will do that after this. I've been getting a lot of requests for that, so I will definitely do that. Hi, Geraldine, thank you for your work. Question, can you be an observer achieving internal peace, but also be a participant in the duality in the external, picking a side and helping them win? Well, anytime that we're thinking about winning means there's always a loser. And there is no win when we're in a constant state of competition. Remember the creator states. Okay, let's pull that up. Remember the creator states. Depends on what level you want to create. And it's, of course, completely up to you. There is no right and wrong. This is not a place for judgment. This is a place for full acceptance of all that you are in your journey in absolute authenticity. So wherever you are in your level of co-creation, you get to choose. But that being said, be aware of the consequences of your choices. Okay, what does that mean? So let me just find really quickly our creator states, because we want to understand really quickly, what does it mean when we come into, when we choose certain ways? Okay, so let's just open that up. Eris, thank you so much for that super chat. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you so much. And your beautiful little pictures. I love that. Thank you so much. Angela, thank you. Let me share my screen really quickly with you just to go into these creator states because it's super important. Okay. So take a look at this. Let's just regroup. What does it mean to be to hope for one side to win? Let's say the light, the supposed light. Anytime that we come into judgment, we are in a competitive state of winning, we are in the state of protection. So as long as we think that we always have to go into these battles or just like sports, like games where we're competitive, we will always feel like there is something outside of us that's not quite right. And we will always be at war with that. So remember that the cost of that is that you come into a state of being in a constant state of defensiveness and a constant state of making sure that you're always on the winning side and not the losing side. Okay, so that's going to cause, that's the embodiment of separation. So when we come into these higher states, we go into partial unity, we come into states of awareness. Now we value truth, for example, okay? But here again, we have to learn to discern. How do we know what truth is when there's so much information in this world and, you know, it's so easy to just become confused? Well, we understand what truth is by what is closest to nature, the natural balances. And what does nature teach us? Nature teaches us that it's an ebb and flow of life and death, yin and yang, right? Feminine and masculine. And so in nature, there is no right and wrong. Everything functions in a natural order. There is no one that wins. Everyone collaborates in their own choice of experience. Those that wish to experience suffering have all the right to experience that. Those that choose to experience joy and harmony and themselves as a source of life force and healing for the whole, they also have that choice to experience that. It doesn't make either of them right or wrong. So this is where we begin to understand this unification way of looking at things. The choice in choosing things that are true and in alignment with nature will take you in a place of neutrality inherently. Why? Because you respect other people's journeys. Okay, so finding the peace with this kind of truth means that you are in a constant state of awareness and you begin to become an energy master. Because remember that anytime we go into judgment or picking a side or kind of like hoping that one side wins, that takes a lot of life force. It takes a lot of energy because we're in a state of control. Okay, because we're constantly controlling ourselves, whether we go into the winning side or losing side, or make sure that our thoughts, our emotions, our intentions don't touch what we perceive to be inversions. And the truth is that we have those inversions within us. We are those inversions. What we feel is the losing side, or what we feel is parasitic, is something that we have within us that we need to become friends with. So this is where truth now begins to change. And the output of that truth is going to look like nothing that we have been sold from what we see in films or movies, or even what is being shown to us as a structure of values and morals as a result of religions, cultures, social structures. Because unfortunately, if we were following the natural laws of balance and harmony, we wouldn't be where we are today. And the today that we're in is a natural choice to experience duality. So there is a harmony within these two dualistic expressions. So to really embody eternal peace means that you have made peace with both expressions within yourself and externally. And there will never be complete peace in this world, because you chose to incarnate in the 3-4 dimensional plane. The law of this dimension is duality. So in order to maintain peace, there will always be duality. Always, always. There are other dimensional expressions that don't operate by these laws that we have chosen to incarnate into. And those are other dimensional planes. You can explore them in your dream time, because you also exist there too. You exist there simultaneously. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to access an understanding of unity consciousness, right? So you know that there's a different way of existing. It doesn't make it better, but there's a different way of existing. So as we connect with these aspects of ourselves, this is why becoming one with our whole fractals of ourselves interdimensionally is essential to our wisdom. And this is where we come in to really becoming a co-creator, and then moving up to pure knowing, pure consciousness, pure light, pure love. That means that there are no walls separating you from anything, internally or externally. You become one, essentially. Okay. Darina Yardova, I hope that answers the question. If it doesn't, please let me know. Darina Yardova, thank you for your incredible work. Thank you. I haven't experienced paranormal events for some time. Is that good or bad? No, it's not bad at all. It really just depends. See, the idea of paranormal, right? Because it's not really actually that not normal. And we have different states of maturity in our spirituality. Okay, so we looked at these different states of creation, but in each one of these states, you're going to cycle through self-similar programs. Remember, I mentioned that you're going to learn how to trust yourself here in this dimension one, the first creator state, and you're going to learn how to trust yourself in the pure knowing state. They're different levels of the same lesson. So remember that. So in that same way, when it comes to interdimensionality, we are exploring interdimensional awareness in many dimensions. You are very familiar with the paranormal. So now you need to access another dimension of that, right? You need to look into your dream state, becoming lucid in dream state, begin to navigate and know that really well. Begin to access. We're continuing evolving, and we continuing to transcend our own limitations. And some of you have the dimensional layer that you most connect to will define the kind of experience that you have. So those of you that are more operating in the physical, you will be mostly interacting with paranormal things such as ghosts, disembodied souls, attachments, zeitgeist types things that we find in nature and in the physical world. Your realm, and even mediumship, right? Because you're connecting to those that are deceased. Your reach, your psychic reach, is reaching up to the 9th dimensional plane. Okay, so once you're familiar with that, you're going to start activating higher dimensions. So 10th, 11th, 12th, 13, and now you're going to begin to access awareness about interdimensional beings, angelic realms, ETs, or what we think are ETs, are interdimensional beings. All of that is available to you to discover, because they're all fractals of yourself in which you exist as. So take a look at where you're at. Some of you have incarnated so many lifetimes that you're wide open to all ranges of interdimensionality. Some of you are limited to certain ones, and it has to do with your astrological sign and the point in which you're incarnating at this time. Just looking in the chat for some questions here. Sorry, guys, if you can put your questions in caps, that would be so helpful. That way I can find them really quickly because you guys have such amazing comments. When will be reunited with our star family? Okay, so let's talk about star family really quickly. Star family is not something external to us or something that's out of the present moment, okay? Our star family is in our DNA. It's our genetic makeup. Within our DNA, within our genetic code, is all of the bloodlines that make up what we are. And in DNA, because it's such a dense coiling of massive amounts of data, transcend physical data, which means ancestral lineages are included in there, but also lineages of interdimensional aspects of yourself, which you are experiencing simultaneously. So everything that you are simultaneously, you might be an angelic being, you might be an Arcturian, you might be a Pleiadian, you might be a reptilian. All of those things, and we are all of them, because all of them represent ranges of vibrational frequency that are expressed and manifested into some form. So, and we perceive those forms through our filters, okay, based on programming. So the less programming you have, the more true form you are able to see of whatever archetypal manifestation of frequency expresses itself to you. So in this way, this is why intuitive activation is essential, because the faculties of activation of our higher bodies mean that, so if you become intuitive, you begin to open your access to these dimensional aspects, which means that you're activating DNA. Okay, so within this DNA, it's holographic, which means that it not only addresses the protein writing instructions to create your physical body, and that accesses the psychological inherited programs that we're taking on from generation to generation that lead you into the belief systems that you embody today. But holographic DNA means that we also are participants of the morphogenetic field, which are the instructions of all mankind, of all human races, all organisms that transcend the physical realm as well, because we have within our genetic code frequencies that transcend just matter, physical, what we believe is physical matter, or should I say density, a lower density of matter. Okay, so what that means is that within our DNA is embedded everything that we are, everything that we have become, and everything that we have potential of becoming. So our star family, you are your star family. You're incarnating within your star family for however long you've chosen to incarnate in order to be able to transcend. The purpose of our awareness of the fragments of ourselves in lineages such as Arcturian, Pleiadian, and remember that these names that we've created for them, they're just names that we created for them based on the names of the solar, of the universe and the planetary systems that we've created. We've created those names, but what they really are vibrational frequencies. Each planet is a vibrational frequency. It's an organism in itself, and those organisms have human organisms or uh, organic life that is a manifestation of that vibrational frequency in that dimension. So these interdimensional beings are manifestations of those vibrational frequencies, which are deeply embedded in us because we are one. So we are descendants of them, and they are descendants of us because we exist simultaneously. So our star family exists within and around us. And the way that we access that information is through activation of DNA, which means meditation, which means deprogramming, which means becoming lucid in states in which you're not in the physical, so that you can travel into these dimensional planes and access that information. So for example, if you're in dream time and you begin to, learn how to lucid dream, you begin to become aware of your activity in these dimensions. And many of you have activities as contactees. Many of you have been in other planets, serving, doing things, living lives. What we think of as secret space program is essentially us existing in other dimensional planes, carrying out simultaneous aspects of ourselves. And we are doing that in many dimensional layers. We manifest in angelic realms, or what we believe is angelic realms, and also as light beings. Okay, so we are all of that. The more you activate your DNA, the more you're able to travel, because your vortex is spinning fast. In dream time, you begin to spin really fast. Your brain wave enters into higher states that make you a match to begin to navigate these higher dimensional planes. Okay, remember, you become this Merkaba, which is one of many forms that you take in order to begin to access higher dimensional levels. So that's what star family is really about. This is not, and we can communicate with that information. In DNA reprogramming, a lot of you are able to access your higher dimensional aspects, and you can identify in DNA reprogramming what dimension you're most connect with, because all of you have more active certain DNA aspects than others. And the holographic DNA that you have activated in yourself will define the dimensional plane which you most interact with in dream state and, in conscious state. So those of you that are really heavily identifying with your Arcturian aspects, Lyran aspects, Sirian aspects more than others, it speaks to the dimension in which you are most spending a lot of time in. I want to remind you that you are not limited to that dimensional plane. You're not limited to that race or that consciousness, that vibrational consciousness. You are all of them. And receive the information and navigate those dimensions as much as you can, but continue moving on to know yourself as all, because you are all. So when you identify, each one of these dimensional layers have certain attributes to how life force manifests and how life force can be utilized. For the human, we have incredible psychic abilities, telepathic, we can even teleport, we can do all these things, but we need to activate and access those abilities and train them within us, which means activate DNA. So each one of those abilities, like telepathic abilities or psychic abilities, is the activation of a certain dimensional layer within us. So some layers are more attuned to certain gifts. Let's say if you're from the 12th dimensional plane, you have an incredible holographic ability, which means that you're able to see holograms. You can work with holographic data. You can work with your hologram in your own body. You can transmute and move heavy blockages in your body very easily. Okay, and everyone has the ability of accessing and activating their 12th dimensional layer of themselves and their attributes. So we are learning how to access the higher tools. So in your meditation, when you begin to connect with star families of certain groups, you can receive these gifts and activate those abilities within you. If you're doing it consciously and you are knowing that it comes from within you, not as something that's being given to you. That's very important, because remember that in these dimensions, exchanges have to be very conscious. Otherwise, we can go into parasitic exchanges. Okay. All right. So, John Shane, Happy New Year. So great to see you. Wow, I made it to challenge session again. So great to see you. Let me see any more questions, and then we're going to jump into our meditation. When we have our tongues to the roof of the mouth, do we breathe through our nose the entire time? Do we release the tongue when we release down in front, or keep it You're going to keep it connected the whole time when you're doing this practice to allow yourself to close the circuit of life force. When you're breathing, I tend to breathe from my nose most in order to create a nice flow. Okay. And there are different practices as well where you breathe from your mouth in order to cleanse and neutralize the energy. But in the practice that we've been doing so far, it's through the nose. Okay. But use your intuition. All right. All right, guys. So let me go into the meditation and we'll come back to begin to answer some more questions. All right. All right. So we're going to inhale deeply and exhale. With every breath you take, allow yourself to come into the physical body, connect. Coming into a state of absolute relaxation and calm. And with every breath you take, begin to connect with your physical body as you take a nice deep breath. And we're just going to jump right in, visualizing gold light coming down into the crown of the head, beginning to relax the nervous system, bringing the body into a state of complete relaxation, complete calm. Breathing. As you begin to focus your breath, as you pull it down into the base of the spine, I want you to feel your belly rising and falling into a pattern of release, receiving and release. We train the body to be in a state of receiving and release first by our breath. Okay. So as we inhale into the body, this is the practice of receiving. And with every exhale, this is the practice of releasing or letting go. Okay. So we're beginning to train the body. As you expand the belly, inhaling, receiving, take it into the body, allowing yourself to receive, to absorb. And you're going to visualize that you're absorbing this golden light into the body that allows healing and restoration in the body. Releasing out. So in absolute stillness that you bring your body, just allow yourself to become this beautiful system of ebb and flow as your belly rises and falls, breathing, inhaling and exhaling, allowing the body to begin to clear, cleanse, neutralize. Just observe yourself in that pattern. Notice if anything feels uncomfortable while you're in this pattern. And remember that we're not doing shallow breaths into the chest. We're doing deep breaths into the solar plexus. Okay, so this is the first step. If any of you feel like you have anxiety or your body wants to tense up when you're doing this breath, it allows you to see the areas that need to be worked on. So allow all the muscles to completely relax, completely expand. We're not tensing anything in the body. The need to control anything is released. We're not controlling how others see us. We're not controlling our judgments towards ourselves. We're not acting on insecurities or fears, doubts. or feelings of being unsafe in any way. You're going to breathe through that deeply into the solar plexus. And the more you breathe into the solar plexus and expand the belly, it allows you to really begin to empower, to grow the state of empowerment in your body. It regulates the nervous system. This deep belly breathing also presses into the spine, which allows to relax the nervous system that connects to the primal nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. So allow yourself to breathe deeply, expanding breaths. Inhale internally and exhale externally. You're doing the work here. You're training your body. You're connecting with your body. With every breath you take, allowing yourself to come into a state of ebb and flow. Okay, you're going to focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and visualize shrinking that chakra down to the size of a dime, disconnecting any imbalances in the root chakra. You're going to go up to your sacral chakra. Go ahead and visualize shrinking that sacral chakra down to the size of a dime, disconnecting any imbalances in the sacral. Go up to your solar. If any of your chakras have a hard time closing or staying closed, it's because we are in survival in that perception. So either it's your safety, it's your interrelationships, or it's your emotional body. Okay, so just focus on acknowledging what it is. And once you acknowledge, surrender, and it will be easier to close. Allow yourself to connect with any emotions, resistance that rises in the body. Be present with it, acknowledge it, and then let the body just kind of readjust as you acknowledge. That will release the tension of the emotion. Go up into the heart chakra. Go ahead and expand your heart chakra as wide as possible, front and back. Notice any parts of you that want to control this process. Just allow yourself to surrender as you experiment with your body, with your multidimensional body. Go up into the throat, expand the throat chakra, expand the third eye. Go up into the crown, activate the seventh and the eighth. Go ahead and illuminate your eighth chakra. I want you to see here the color that represents your highest vibrational expression for 2023. See that now. And illuminate into the areas of career, into the seventh chakra, abundance, love, consciousness, joy, harmony, success, money, creativity, sexuality, exchanges, manifestation, and purpose. Aligning with your higher self, all the highest expressions of yourself that are available to you at this time. Okay. We're going to begin by bringing up a powerful wave of healing energy that comes rushing up into the body, creating a vortex of energy. Go ahead and feel that vortex rotating around the body. From source, go ahead and bring down a powerful wave of golden light mixing with this healing energy from earth. Okay, go ahead and send 10% back down, anchoring cosmic energy into the center of the earth. And we're going to sit for a moment, bringing this peace energy into the earth, bringing this harmonious energy into the earth. As it begins to bleed out into our family members, into our communities, into our societies, into our countries, into the world, into the human race. As we hold space for all to find peace and internal harmony. And I want you to sit here in this peace for a moment. Notice that you come into the heart center. Notice that your heart chakra expands. We're going to bring ourselves into coherence at this moment. Everyone that is here meditating in this room, in this group, just come into that 0 point. Just experience that harmony and that peace for a moment. Let yourself leave survival behind, control behind, fear behind. Magnify this harmonious state in your body. Make it bigger. Make it bigger all around you. Go up into your throat chakra. Go ahead and expand the throat chakra. Go up into your third eye. Go ahead and expand your third eye. Very good. You're going to take 80% of that healing energy and cosmic energy, send it up your spine, and from the crown of the head, creating a fountain, coating the outside of your field. You are neutralizing the matrix, the way that you perceive the matrix. I want you to neutralize it. Go ahead and call back your life force anywhere that you are unconsciously being depleted. Inhale deeply into the body, taking back your life force. Regulating the nervous system with every breath. Releasing any need to control or to hold on to anything or anyone, any idea, any concept, any program, any separation, any judgment. Let go of that. Just allow yourself to experience the peace that is available to you when you let go of that. It's like you no longer need to fight or struggle or be afraid. Notice how the body begins to feel happy, peaceful, joyful, love. All of these feel-good emotions are absolutely rooted in love. They all come down to love. So whatever frequency you're tuning into right now, that is a feel-good emotion that is available to you at your current state, guide yourself to love from wherever you're at. through whatever emotion you're feeling or that is allowed at this time. Come into that neutrality and notice how love is more powerfully available through neutrality. It is not something that you're forcing or fabricating or making yourself feel or imagining. It is a natural emergence. It naturally emerges and emanates from your body when you come into this peaceful harmony where you surrender and let go. This is the natural state. Right now, you are aligning with nature. You can imagine yourself in a gigantic forest, a jungle, in the middle of an ocean. As you begin to notice the power of nature that is available as channeled through this neutral state of absolute infinite creation. You're going to take that final 10% and bring it into the body now, allowing the body to absorb this healing. Nourish your body. Take a moment to allow your body to heal, to regenerate, to restore. As you absorb it into the skin, connect with your skin. Connect with the flesh. Connect with the muscles. Connect with the nervous system, the tendons, the bones. Go into your bones as you infuse it with this healing life force energy. And as you infuse it into the bone structure of your body, the most crystallized state of your frequency, allow yourself to eliminate anything in this physical vessel that is an inversion of balance within. Anything that causes disharmony in the balance that is required, the natural balance that is created. Go ahead and eliminate that out of the body. Everything that we've been doing up until this point is the practical manner of accepting yourself as the light. So inherently, you are accepting. Begin to feel very comfortable in this state. As you nourish your body, begin to recognize yourself as the light that you are. Go ahead and see yourself in your light body now. Shift your focus to observe yourself as a light body. What do you look like? How big are you? How do you expand? Notice the shape of your body. Notice how your light emanates. How rays of light emanate from the core of your being. Focus on the variations of colors. Notice that you have rainbows of colors within you because you are all the spectrum. As you see your light body, begin to observe if it's fully integrated in the physical body or hovering above your body, or maybe to the side or to the left or just off center slightly. Go ahead and allow yourself to remove any blockage in the physical vessel that doesn't allow this light body to fully integrate. Notice how you discover thought forms and limiting beliefs. Go ahead and allow yourself to release them as you bring yourself to those parts and you let go of control in those parts. You let go of fear. The muscles begin to relax and expand. And notice how your light body can now automatically begin to realign back into the center of your body. It emanates from the core. Allow yourself to see yourself more clearly as this light body. And I want you to begin to take this light body into a recent scenario that you had that triggered you. Go ahead and allow yourself to find a scenario, an event over the past 24 hours or the past week that has triggered you out of balance. Take yourself there. And as you see yourself in this experience, I want you to see yourself as this light body in that same event. Notice the contrast between yourself as a light and the events that are happening around you. Noticing the contrast between how you reacted in those events and how this light body would react in those events. Notice how the external has no reach into this light. Whatever someone's doing, saying, acting, it cannot shift your light because your light is a strong emanation of a high frequency. The more dense you become, the more reachable you are by triggers and targets. Just observe that contrast for a moment. And feel with your entire body the difference of embodying light as opposed to control, fear, judgment, separation. Does it feel healthier? Does it feel more expansive? Does it feel more peaceful? Does it feel more powerful, more unstoppable? Does it feel more wise? Is it more aware of its energy and where it places its energy? Is it more aware of exchanges? Allow yourself to shine your crown light on this event, and you're going to see a contract. This contract represents the lesson that you experienced in that moment. What is the lesson? Listen to hear the lesson, or just open up your knowing so that you can receive the knowing of what it is, or the feeling of what it is, or the sense of what it is. What is this experience teaching us, reminding us? Once you have received the message, go ahead and shine your crown light on top of that contract and dissolve it. If you're ready to let it go. If you're ready to integrate the lesson. So here's the question. Are you ready to integrate the lesson? Are you ready to accept? You're very familiar with this lesson because you've had it many times. And that's why it's a trigger. So what will be different going forward that this time you will learn the lesson in order to provide harmony for yourself? So begin to take a look at all parts of yourself that want to control the external world, that want to control events, thoughts, emotions, perceptions, in order to avoid this lesson, Take a look at how much energy goes into that. Or lack of energy goes into it. Okay. So take a look at this part of you now. What do you need? What is it that you need from yourself in order to be able to embody this light that you are? Take a look at that light. It's so free flowing, so comfortable, so empowered. What are some of the parts of you that are afraid of empowerment, of truth, of peace, of harmony, of accepting and trusting that you are this? What are some of the parts of you that don't believe that you are this light, that you are this infinite potential? Begin to observe the muscle contractions and the reactions in your physical body as you identify them, and allow yourself to gently release them. As you let go of control, just come back to neutral state within this thought. Allow yourself to accept that you are this light, that you are loved, that you are good, that you are acceptable, that you are valuable, that you are worthy, that you are divine, that you are pure, you are sacred. That you are empowered, that you are safe. That you are both dualities, that you are light and that you are dark. Allow yourself to accept that. That you are expansion and that you are contraction. That you are good and that you also have bad. Allow yourself to accept. You are all of it. Nurture all of the parts of you that resist judgment or that want to judge. And as you do this, you begin to notice that you are the light, that you become that expansive self when you accept your shadow, that you don't need to be fighting a war internally or externally for anything. I want you to fill your body with acceptance, fill your body with gratitude for yourself, a deep gratitude, a deep acknowledgement that you are good. All of what you are, all of your expression, whether it's perceived as bad, you are exactly what you need to be in this moment. You are the all. Breathing deeply into the base of the spine as you inhale and exhale. Tune into the feeling of profound safety and love. And as you are here, begin to open the root chakra back into a balanced state. Begin to open the sacral into a balanced state. Go ahead and clear out the first layer of your body. All the parts of us that don't accept that we are the light which contains all. Go up to your sacral. Go ahead and clear out all the blockages that clear out. Everything. Go into the solar plexus, clear out all of the blockages. And don't allow you to accept yourself as the light. Go up into your heart now. Clear out all the belief systems that don't allow you to see yourself as worthy, as the light, as good. Go up into the throat. Clear it out of the fifth layer of your body. The sixth layer of the body. The seventh layer of the body. And you're going to go up to the eighth layer of the body of manifestation and co-creation. Clear it out. As you begin to activate the ninth, go ahead and activate the ninth dimension, the ninth chakra. Activate the 10th chakra, the 11th, the 12th chakra, the 13th chakra, the 14th chakra, the 15th chakra, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, 19th, 20th, the 21, 22, 23, 24. Just notice how your entire body shifts as you open this chakra. Your perception changes. If anytime you feel that you need to change perception, activate and bring yourself up to any of these higher vortices, centers of wisdom and information for you. I want you to see source and bring source down into the body. As you anchor it down through the center of the crown of the head, through the spine, down through the perineum and into the center of the earth, as your body comes into a state of complete alignment and truth. I want you to fill yourself with love and gratitude. And you're going to go ahead and open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. Excellent. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. This was Self-Love Sundays, and it was also day 22 of our 30-day challenge. I'm going to come over here to the chat to see if there are any questions, any final questions that I can answer. And we'll go from there. Let me see here. How can I remember my dream state? I haven't remembered a dream since I was 13. I'm now going to 53. So, how is your relationship with the present moment awareness? Are you always aware in the present moment? If you're not, then this is where you begin. And that will allow you to become more present in your dream state. And training lucid dreaming, I guess we should have a workshop on that soon. But training lucid dreaming is really important when it comes to accessing these higher states of consciousness because it's your navigation. So start by GPAC is a really powerful thing that you can do if you'd like to learn that. Grounding, protecting, becoming aware of your space, aligning, shifting your perception. When you align your chakras, you're shifting your perception from a place of survival into a place of co-creation. So it's not just imagining chakras, you're literally shifting the way you're perceiving and accessing information from your DNA, okay? And the subconscious mind. And co-creating, you are activating your 7th and 8th chakra, which allow you to co-create and actually integrate the higher self, the non-physical, with the physical. So this is a really powerful tool that you can utilize to help you start doing that. Thank you for that question. Lee Gartman, so great to see you at the ocean today in awareness of ebb and flow. Beautiful, beautiful. Jay Zen, great to see you. Geraldine, in meditation, I see 5 DNA strands, 1 in the center, 4 rotating around the others. Awesome. Yeah, so the more you activate yourself, you'll be able to see more of your DNA. Obviously, you have holographic vision, so you'll be able to see more. DNA really looks like a pretty heavy system, very complex holographic system when you see it in its full potential. It's amazing. Essentially, it becomes one. It's one unified light source. I have questions. Can we do a video chat? Please put your questions here. I didn't open this video for live chat today, but next weekend on Sunday, we will have live Q&A. So you can join us there and you can register on my website. Or if it's more personal questions, you might consider doing a session. I'm not sure. Go ahead and see what works best for you. Lisa Davy, question, Geraldine, can you address floaters in the eye during one of Alva Weinman's Journey of Forgiveness sessions? A man stated his guides put it in there to get more sunlight. Any advice on the floaters? Anytime that we have obstructions in our eyes or in our vision, these are things that are impeding us from seeing truth or that we are creating that are blocking. It's a manifestation of the fact that we subconsciously block seeing truth or trusting what we see. So, and this can be in many different forms of eye diseases, but the eyes are the windows to the essence of what we are and to how we receive and give information from the external realm. So anytime there's anything that obstructs that, it means that we need to go up to the higher octave of vision, which is intuition. Even people that are blinded, for example, they activate more of their senses in order to navigate the world. So this is the invitation. Activate more of your senses so that you can see what's true, and then the other part of that is the emotional work. Are you able to handle truth and accept truth as it's being shown? So those would be 2 things that I would really focus on. How do I know they remember me? Who are you talking about, Russell? Can you clarify for us? Are prophetic dreams the ability to read the morphogenetic field? Yes, essentially that is what that is. You are tuning into the morphogenetic field and to simultaneous aspects of yourself that are both in future, past, simultaneous aspects of ourselves or higher vibrational frequency aspects of ourselves. Just looking for questions. How does lack of life force affect and correlate with hair loss? Greatly. Okay. Why? Because a lot of hair loss has a lot to do with hormones in the body. for both men and women. So when we have a loss of hormones or hormonal energy, or there's an imbalance in the chemistry in the body, a lot of times it will deplete that life force. So I would really take a look at survival mechanisms that are depleting life force, sexual energy, depletion of energy, emotional energy that's being depleted. All of that will contribute to hair loss in a way that's imbalancing, what we require. And in states of survival, where your life force is just on survival and emotional drama as opposed to conducive co-creative actions. So how to heal that is by coming into deep gratitude and connecting with the things that bring you and ignite in you creativity. Come into creative activities. It's because your creative life force has been going into patterns of counter creation and depletion. So when you redirect them into creation, you can more easily come into gratitude and love, and that will allow to rebalance this emotional imbalance in the body. But also pay attention to, your vitamins, and are you nourishing the body? Oftentimes when we deplete our energy through sexual energy or emotions, imbalanced emotions, we don't nourish the body. We're just surviving. So as I was mentioning earlier about nurturing or comfort and actually nurturing the body, we are kind of playing into those patterns. So it goes hand in hand. So make sure that your body is being nourished. And we nourish the body through energy. Number one, life force. Okay, so qigong, connect with nature. Everything around you is energy. Pull it into the body. Be mindful of what you're pulling in. Okay. Okay, our old habits are just that. Are you ready to go with no limitations? Yay. That's right, Jason. Hello, Sam. Welcome. Happy New Year, Brad. So great to see you. Wonderful. Let me see. Any more questions, my loves? Rebecca says, any tip on to calm baby to sleep through my meditation sessions without multiple interruptions? I know it is my energy they pick up, but can I implement a golden field around them? So a way that you can start doing that is by closing your first three chakras. Normally, I don't suggest to do this when we are in waking state until you know how to own your space. But when you're with a child, your vibrational frequency has shifted already into a natural state. Children's are generations of life force. I mean, they're generators of life force, and they are already maintaining a very present awareness with them. Okay. So if you close your first three chakras, you will activate your intuition, but you're also going to come into neutrality. I highly suggest activating crown chakra 7th and 8th, because these allow us to connect with the whole, and they can shift environments. So change the color or vibrational frequency of your house, ground your house, fill your house with a color gold, or select a color that represents peace and harmony and safety, and fill that into your nursery or wherever room you're in, and ground yourself. Have your field completely intact. Close your field completely. Close the first three chakras, open the heart, open the throat, open the third eye, and it will bring you into a state of coherence. And when you bring your child next to you and you breathe with them, you begin to allow them to notice that they can match your breath. That's when they will be able to feel your peace and your calm. But in that moment, you can't be thinking about what you need to be doing, or your thoughts or emotions or fears or stresses. You have to be absolutely in the present moment. So the children, they make us come into presence, just like animals live in the present moment. Um, Children are highly encoded in ways that allow ourselves to really come into our highest expression no matter what. So this is the contract when having children. And so come into your present moment. Children become anxious when their parents are not in the present moment, because they sense that it's something that's against nature, that's out of nature, out of balance, and that is perceived as danger or not safe environment for a child. So bring yourself fully into the present moment. Thank you, Geraldine. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Grace, Angie, Pono, Karen, Darina, wow, amazing. As we activated 24, felt ringing in my hands and expansion for even more warm light. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Geraldine. This is my first time live ever. Susanna, great to see you. Angela, thank you very much. Greg, are the dimensions you speak of in the meditation the same as with the law of one changelings? The same thing? What, the law of one changelings? The same thing? I'm not sure I understand your question, Greg, but the law of one, I'm not very familiar with that. I haven't read it, so I don't know exactly what they talk about in terms of dimensions. So I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to answer that question specifically. But yeah. John Shane, Geraldine, is there a size to each chakra aura starting with the root all the way up to the 24th, or it's just perception? So the sizes depend on your enhancement and connection and cultivation of those fields, because the whatever expands is where energy is being allocated and directed. So in the same way that we experience that in the body with our primal chakras, if you're in a state of anger all the time, you're yellow, it's just an example, yellow. We use that because it's an easy reference that you're all familiar with, but it's not always yellow. But your solar plexus chakra becomes enlarged, and that filters the perception of your reality. So if you spend a lot of time cultivating higher dimensional bodies, so your dimensions of your 11th, 12th, 13th dimensional layers of yourself, those will be more expanded, which means you're going to come into that perception more. So it's going to be a more universal, more grounded, more expansion. Okay. So that's how you will look into that. Thank you so much, Adriana, Jay Zen, Mark Hudson, Teresa. Thank you so much for that super chat. Love you and happy new year to you too. Much love. Going to the 25th feels so aligning. Yes, Kevin Parkinson, thank you so much. Holy love. Thank you very much for that super chat. I'm so grateful. Greg says again, are dimensions you speak of in the meditation the same as the law of one channelings called densities? I wonder if they are. I really couldn't say without reading what exactly they're talking about. So I couldn't give you an accurate answer again, Greg. I'm so sorry. But essentially, it would be densities in a sense where vibrational frequency, the lower the density, the heavier the density, the more solid and crystallized it becomes. The more higher the density, the more fast moving, the more non-physical it manifests. So if that is the way that they are talking about it, yes, these are the chakras, those are the expressions of ourselves. We are either more solid or more non-physical. So yes, if that is what they're talking about, the answer would be yes. You recognize your star family, Russell. No, nobody is recognizing you. You're recognizing them. And again, you are recognizing yourself as them and them as you, because we're one. Just like me and you here, we recognize each other, we see each other, and we co-create with one another consciously. Teresa says, Happy New Year. Have you noticed the golden rainbow light codes from the sun? So beautiful. That's beautiful. In Chinese medicine, hair extension is a blood, quality of blood. Yes, that's right, Sioban. Thank you for that. Yes, into the second day. And the blood is created in the hip joints here. It's filtered and produced through the hips. So it's really important to notice the meridian lines in which the chemicals of the body are being either depleted in a way that create imbalance in the hormonal body. So definitely check that in. All right, my love, does my family, star family, remember me? If they do, how do I know? So let's talk about resonance. Let's say you and I are star family. We are resonance. We are in alignment. in many ways, vibrational frequency, and in the level of our understanding of ourselves in the whole. So that would be a way for you to understand. If you are in resonance, then you are in alignment and you remember each other genetically, multidimensionally, energetically. That's the best way to know whether you are in alignment with someone. Is there a particular practice to cultivate the root chakra? Since when not in the country or place of origin? Since when not in Darina, can you clarify that for me? I'm not sure I understand that. Fernando says, fabulous. Love you. Thank you, Fernando. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Jolene says, I'm having a hard time keeping a solar plexus the size of a dime during your meditations. Any suggestions on work? Yes. So solar plexus, anger, inability to accept programs, helplessness, overwhelm. Those are the main areas that I would focus on for the solar plexus. Anytime you're suppressing emotions or anger in a really heavy manner, this is what I would look at. So take a look at your relationship with those programs and see how you can expand them, how you can release, forgive yourself and others. A lot of that anger is directed towards the self. Why are we so angry at ourselves? What is it that we need in order to be able to access the parts of us that we love and accept and are joyful to integrate with? Okay. All right. I love you all so much. Have an amazing week. Happy New Year once again. And let's get going. All my love. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you, Jolene. Any help, let me know. Love you.